Hi, I'm Brian.
Hi everybody, back to talk about air conditioning, hopefully for the last time. I've talked about a few times our energy and what we've learned about our solar system and in relation some to the air conditioning since we've had the solar system set up. But I want to talk about an issue or set of issues that we've had with our air conditioner, our mini split, since the install. I may have alluded to it in other videos, and some of the stuff I'm going to mention I may have talked about in other videos, but I'll try not to repeat myself too much. But this is not really about things that we've learned or things that we need to change. This one's about kind of just the issues we had with our air conditioner. And spoiler alert, I'm hoping they're fixed, so hopefully this is the last time I have to talk about it. So I just wanted to kind of summarize what happened. So there's a mini split install video, obviously, and I installed the unit myself, indoor, outdoor, connect the two, and I paid a guy to come, an HVAC tech, to come and do the final check and turn it on, check for leaks, evacuate the system, because you need some equipment that I didn't feel like buying and didn't feel comfortable doing anyway, and I thought maybe somebody else could do one final check of my install, make sure everything was all right. So I did that. Guy came, kind of turned it on, said everything looked fine, said my install looked good, no leaks, all good. So he leaves, he's here for maybe 30 minutes, right? No big deal. And he leaves, and we're good for a week or two. I think we actually went on a short trip during that time. And when we got back, it was blowing warm air. It just wasn't, it was running, but it was blowing warm air. So, and of course this is, at this point we're getting into the hot temperatures, right? It's pushing 100, if not over 100 here. So we suffer for a day or two in that, and we get somebody else out here. I had trouble getting the same guy to come back. He was a little busy, and I wasn't sure I wanted him to come back because I thought maybe he had missed something. So I got another guy to come out, and he took a look at it, said, again, there was no leak between the indoor and outdoor units, so my install was good. So that made me feel good. But he said there was a leak internal to the outdoor unit. He thought it was at the actual service valves, basically the valves that it comes pre-charged with refrigerant, so it's held in by these valves that you open up basically when you want to start the whole thing up. He believed the leak was there, or it potentially could have been somewhere else inside that outdoor unit. But the reason he thought it was at the valves is because he kind of adjusted them a little bit, and he thought he saw it holding pressure for a while. So, it looked like it was kind of possibly a warranty issue, but we were kind of in need of air conditioning at the time, so he made this adjustment, and it looked like it was holding, and we basically just, when he left that day, we were just crossing our fingers hoping it would hold. And it did for a while. So fast forward about 4 weeks, it was working fine, but I've explained in some of the videos about energy usage that it was using a good bit more than we had anticipated, and we even went to a little bit of a generator as a backup at times to let the batteries in the solar system charge up, because running that air conditioner in the heat of the day really was, during the day it wasn't all that bad because the sun would provide enough, but as soon as the sun went down, we just started taking from the batteries, and it took it really quickly. So when it was really hot. So, but other than that, it was keeping us cool, right? So, but then there was a period of maybe a week or two where it got, again, it was pretty hot. Now we got to be in May, if not June now, and it's probably June, and it's well over 100 degrees. And we're getting to the point for a couple of weeks where, we keep it set at about 80. It's fine for us in this small space. It actually feels okay. But yet it just wouldn't even get us to 80, right? In the heat of the day, we have a thermometer in here. We're at 84, 86, 88. And, unfortunately, I didn't think about the leak issue. I know now obviously I should have, but I just thought, I came to the conclusion that with the losses in the trailer, the inefficiency, the leaks out the doors and windows and things, that maybe it just couldn't do it, right? That was the best we could do. And that was sad, but that's the conclusion I came to. And unfortunately, the leak issue didn't even come into my mind, but it eventually did, because there was a point. So we were just not sure. It wasn't obvious that it was just totally gone and garbage. It was just having a hard time keeping us comfortable. So, but there was a day where we actually left for the day, and we left Dallas here, our dog, and we set it about 84. You know, nothing super cool, but not, you know, she wouldn't get crazy overheated. So we were gone for most of the day, and when we got back, it was about 90 degrees in here, and I held my hand up to the indoor unit, and it was blowing warm air. It was basically just like a fan blowing warm air. So that's when it hit me. Oh, this thing's dead again, right? It's functioning, you know, it's running, so it's not electrical or anything like that. It's clearly the refrigerant is gone again, because that's what happened last time. And I kicked myself for not thinking of that a few weeks earlier, but it wasn't as obvious a few weeks earlier. But at this point, it became really obvious. So now it's a warranty issue. So I start calling the manufacturer and calling the kind of the tech that I had out before, just to warn him, hey, you know, it is kind of doing what we were afraid it might do. We were hoping it wouldn't, but it is. And he said, okay, let me know what the manufacturer does. And so went back and forth with the manufacturer a few times. They had a little trouble finding my order at first because of the website I had made it on. They couldn't find it. We got past that. They asked me what I needed. They were very cooperative in wanting to send parts, but the only place where I got burned a little bit, and this is a little, I don't say my own fault, but since I installed it, the manufacturer, when they warranty these things, they don't pay for labor. So they'll give you the parts you need, but they won't pay for labor. I think they look to the installers basically and say, hey, that's kind of your deal when you install this thing. Well, because I was the installer in this process, I kind of had to eat the labor that was involved with these things. But they were very cooperative when it came to parts, and they asked me what I needed. So I called the tech up and asked him, and basically he said if they send you the condenser coil and the valves, the service valves, I can replace that, and it's almost like a brand new outdoor unit, other than just the coil and a compressor in there, I think. So he said that should do it. So I told them that, and they said okay. And we actually, this was around 4th of July now, so there was a video where we were up at our friend's house on 4th of July. That's what was going on. We were trying to get these parts here. So we stayed up there actually for a couple days and managed to stay out of the heat. But then we came back and started checking on the shipment of these parts. And so they had given me a tracking number for the carrier that was going to deliver it. And I called them up to see, or maybe I called up to get that tracking number, and they said, I'm actually processing your order right now. They said, we're sending you a new outdoor unit. And I said, great, that's fine. That's not really what we had agreed upon, but I'll take the new outdoor unit. So they sent that, and they gave me a tracking number, and I think I had to wait a day to kind of check the tracking just for it to get in the system of the carrier. And it showed that it was going to take about a week. So that, and it's 100 plus degrees. So we, of course, were not real happy about that, but there wasn't much we could do. So we found ways, we went to the grocery store and things to kind of cool off a little bit, but we were kind of stuck here. It was pretty rough here for a few days. Then we got a little break when the rains came. We got some rain here, cloud cover, and it did cool off quite a bit. But it got a little muggy, and we had no air. We could run fans and things, so we managed to get by, but it wasn't real pretty. So this was Monday or Tuesday, I think. I watched the tracking of the package, and it made it to Phoenix in a day or two from the time it was shipped, right? So it came from Georgia or something, came across the country, but it made it to Phoenix pretty quickly. And I guess what happened was, for that carrier, they probably just have a day each week that they deliver down to Tucson and beyond, which is us. So, and that day was Friday. So even though the package was in Tucson, I think on Monday, or in Phoenix on Monday or Tuesday, it wasn't scheduled to be delivered here till Friday, and we're just dying. So then I start making phone calls to the carrier, and I say, can I come up to Phoenix and pick it up? I'll gladly come get it, because we're dying. And they said, sure, just have the manufacturer let us know it's okay to release it to you here instead of delivering it to the address. And I actually had it delivered to our neighbor because of the whole physical address thing we've got going on here. So they actually didn't have my name down on the package. They had Derek's name to receive the delivery. So I had to get the manufacturer to send an email that said it's okay to release it to this guy, and a whole thing. And they said okay. So we made plans the next day. I think this was we were going to go get it on a Tuesday, and I had the HVAC tech that was going to come out and start it up again, just as before, come coming out on Wednesday. So Tuesday comes, and Derek gets a call from the shipping company, and he lets me know. He says, "Hey, they just called me," and I said, I asked them not to call you, but with all the information that's going on, because I had to use him kind of as an address, it gets confusing. So they ended up calling him, and I said, "Sorry, I was gonna go get that today, so I'll call them." And he actually said, just coincidence, he happened to be on the road on the way to Phoenix, so he agreed to pick it up for me. So I called the carrier and said, "Hey, Derek's on the way, he'll pick it up." They said fine. So he got it and brought it to us on that Tuesday, and I swapped it out for the old one, and on Wednesday the HVAC guy came, started it up, everything looked fine. Obviously we took a little extra care this time, we watched things a little longer, but running just fine. And in just thinking about that and discussing it with the tech while he was here, and now since watching it afterwards, we've got some graphs and things of energy usage we can watch. Not only are we cool right now, which is obviously important, it looks like because we basically always had a leak in the other one, you know, it was maybe a slow leak at times, but definitely had a leak. Not only are we cool right now, but it's actually behaving a lot better energy-wise, so it's not just drawing down the battery as much as it would have before. And when the sun goes down, you know, we can leave it running for quite a while and it doesn't just kill us. And as the temperature comes down a little bit outside, it kind of throttles back its energy usage, because again, it's about moving heat. It's heat transfer. It's moving heat from indoors to outdoors. And if there's less heat to move and it's not as hot outside, it shouldn't have to work as hard. And we always knew this theoretically with the old unit, but we didn't know how good of a job it could do. Well, this one's doing a lot better job now without a leak. So fingers crossed, last time we have to worry about it, but it's behaving much better. We're cool, but I wanted to share with everybody, some people that I've talked with, friends and family and things, know that we've been suffering a little bit. It has been pretty rough, on and off, basically since the unit's been installed, really, because there was a leak from day one, I think. So it would work at times, but it never worked for very long. So we've always been kind of struggling to keep ourselves comfortable in here and struggling with our energy usage because of it. So it was doing both of those things to us. Both of those problems seem to be largely solved. I think we'll be cool in here. Obviously, the trailer still is what the trailer is, and we've got those problems, and they have to be managed. But it is performing a lot better than the other unit that had a leak. So initially, you know, as a matter of fact, what was a day or two ago, I think, is when we got this new unit installed and turned on. And for the first time since we've had an air conditioning unit, we ran it 24 hours. We ran it all night, all through the night. Now, it didn't work real hard, obviously, because it does cool off out here, which is great. But that was the first time we got to run it for 24 hours. So I think we're in business to be able to run this thing pretty much all the time we need. It still could possibly, when the temperatures get really high, it still could suck a lot of energy, and we may need to revert to the generator at times, but that's okay. We've got that as a backup, because the trailer still is inefficient. I mean, that problem isn't solved, but we're in much better shape now. And I just wanted to, for the people that knew kind of what we were going through, and even those that weren't, I wanted to share kind of for the past, it's probably been 2 months at least that we've had this mini split unit, and we've really never been super comfortable for more than a few days or a few weeks at a time. So hopefully we're beyond that. The manufacturer was pretty good about it. Like I said, unfortunately, they didn't take care of labor. If I had had somebody install it for me, that installer probably would have eaten all that went on, or dealt with the manufacturer to get paid for that, and I probably wouldn't have to eat any of that cost. But I think part of installing it yourself is, if something goes wrong, I think you're probably eating that labor cost, even when the unit was, I think, defective. But that's, in the grand scheme of things, that's okay. We're in business now. We're nice and cool, and I think the energy is going to be much better. Maybe I'll give an update a little bit down the road, but initially it looks like it's doing way better from an energy standpoint. So just want to give an update.